Hi friends of ILKVlogs. Today I'm going to react to my favorite content creator, Casual Chuck. This is the fourth episode of his series called Filipinos Who Made Pinoys Proud. Okay, Chuck, let's see what you got. I was going to do this with my friends when I met up with them, but that place was so loud and so noisy, and I was doing my episode about how I celebrate my birthday SB19 style. So if you haven't seen that, please watch. Let's watch this.
More and more foreigners are moving to the Philippines, not because of the affordable cost of living, the beautiful culture, or the scenery.
Okay, I've heard of
fed
this.
up with Western women because we're all apparently so woke and so terrible,
Passport.
and Western women don't want to be wives, that they are now going to other countries to find wives.
Like which countries?
Like Southeast Asia, the Philippines, the Dominican Republic.
So it's like the opposite of the mail order bride.
And so a lot of these men get remote jobs. And so they go there and they live in these countries, and then they meet these women. And then women in the Western world, specifically the United States, are so pissed off about it. And they're like, you're going to all these countries where these women don't even know how to speak English. They can't even read. They're so uneducated. And then the men like film themselves with these women and like show themselves on dates. And the women are so elegant and they're so well spoken and they're so traditional. And they're like, look at these women. Like they're so respectful and kind. And the Western women are, sitting on their, Fresh and Fit podcast, whatever podcasts, losing their mind over this.
When you pay attention to the passport bros, like they're getting women from like the DR, Colombia,
Yes.
The Philippines, Thailand, like women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education, women that need them, women that need
women
them.
are raised to be wives. They learn everything from birth, from their father, from their mother, how to be a wife and how to support your man.
Women that need them.
It's not even women that need them. It's women that treat them with respect.
So we don't.
Y'all know y'all don't.
I live in your country and I speak two languages, Tagalog and English. You live here. How many do you speak? One? You're stupid.
Oh, let's be nice.
Yeah.
Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
Do you think it is a prerequisite to speak the English language in being Miss Universe?
No, of course not. A Miss Universe is just someone who
Chuck,
communicates
man, now this is
effectively and is able to
touching
connect to people.
a chord
Just
here.
like in music, you don't need to understand the lyric, but you can feel a feeling from what they're communicating. So why should it be any different with language?
That's why she's Miss Universe.
So, totoo bang may actor na nanligaw sa'yo? Yeah, but I said no.
Hey, you athlete.
Didn't work out then. Ooh, what about the model? No, long story.
This is Kelsey Merritt. She was born and raised in Angeles City, Pampanga to a Filipina mother and an American soldier.
Very
a pretty good
cute.
example of a passport bro.
Nice.
As a teenager,
Passport bro,
Kelsey
that's what
always
I've been
wanted to
looking
be
for,
a
that
model.
word term.
She was so
I've heard of
passionate about
that.
it while studying in high school, she was already auditioning for various modeling gigs. Judging by this early footage, it clearly showed that her potential was off the charts. Despite her future being so bright though, Kelsey never forgot about her education because as early as 21 years old, she would graduate from Ateneo de Manila University with a
Smart.
degree in communications. After finishing her studies, she went headfirst into modeling. She focused on improving her craft and strived to be the best version of herself through rigorous amounts of training. And I think it paid off. She started appearing in different magazines.
Let me just talk about education. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and for somebody who's not well off, there's no other way, or there's no other thing that your parents would put in your head but to study hard, because there's always something good that would happen when you're educated. So I don't know how these Western women would make assumptions that even if that when you come from a poor country, like where I came from, that we're not educated. Oh, Chuck, you're bad.
Covers, makeup, and clothing brands, and sometimes even worked with other famous celebrities like Liza Soberano and
And just to put a contrast on that, I've seen a lot of Westerners. I don't want to be specific, but you know, their upbringing is not really about educating. It's not really about pushing their children to have a good education, because maybe, you know, they're well off to begin with. They're born with enough and whatnot. And it's more like they're teaching their young women to be sexy and whatnot, and how to hook rich men. That's not how we were raised in the Philippines. I'm being emotional, Chuck. You're bad. I think because it hit a chord. Even though I've lived here in the US longer than I have lived in the Philippines. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and like I said, there's nothing that was put in my head more than get a good education. I remember my mom would tell me, I'll do everything in the house. You don't have to work hard in cleaning and doing stuff, but I want you to study and do well. And I did well. But like I said, that's always put in the head of the children in the Philippines, men and women, to have a good education. And it's not about making money because you're hooking up with a rich guy. Oh my God. In fact, as an only child, I told my parents before that when I'm not set, when I don't have a good paying job, that I would not get married. Because I want to be an independent woman, even if I'm married, that I would have my own income. So.
And Bea Alonso, to name a few. And of course, even more commercials.
Oh, hey girls! Working outside is so hot and sticky.
And that means frizzy hair.
Filipino models would have already been contented to achieve this kind of success. But in Kelsey's...
And growing up, a lot of young girls as well fantasize of being a beauty queen or being a... For my level, I remember growing up saying, I want to be a flight stewardess because you look so pretty with a nice uniform and all that. But it's not what we think it is. It is hard work.
In this case, well, let's just say she wasn't just an ordinary Filipina, because right after graduating, she would make a vow to herself. And she did it in public. It must have taken her a lot of guts to do it. She was literally a dreamer. The Victoria's Secret fashion show was no joke.
I remember
it was home
this
to the
girl.
most respected models in the entire world, so making it there is like reaching the promised land for any aspiring model. So in order to maximize her chances, she moved to New York and kept grinding. After just a little less than a year, she got the chance to audition for a spot in the 2018 Victoria's Secret fashion show.
There we go.
Yeah, I remember her. She made news in the Philippines.
Great. Let's try a smile.
Did she make it?
Yes, of course. So this is a Filipina who is not just capitalizing on her beauty and her looks. She already graduated from college. So she already has something up here.
It turned out that she wasn't just a dreamer, but a woman of action. Her tweet back then, she totally backed it up. And boy, was it satisfying for her to announce it. It was a proud moment for her Pinoy fans for sure. Except, it wasn't for some of them. Some fans criticized her looks
Crab
because they thought
mentality.
it didn't represent the real beauty of a Filipina. These
Because
comments were obviously
she's
heartbreaking
half?
for Kelsey,
Is that what it
and
is?
She couldn't help but respond to them. In her words, I was born and raised in Pampanga, Philippines. I finished my studies in Manila before going to the US last year. As far as I'm concerned, my blood is more Pinoy than the pure-blooded ones out there who have never been in the Philippines. I love my country and I'm proud of where I came from. Man, I gotta say,
In anything,
she
there's
handled
always gonna be
response so
haters.
intelligently.
Insecure
So
people.
going back to the show, it underwent a lot of preparation. And when it was finally showtime, Kelsey Merritt did not disappoint.
Cutie with a personality. And it shows. What a cutie.
how crazy this is? Kelsey literally walked among world-famous models such as Kendall, Gigi, Adriana, Candice, Bahari, and more. She herself couldn't even believe it happened.
It's only because you're from the Philippines, and in fact, when you think about it, it's a bigger feat to have accomplished that.
By becoming the first ever Filipina to have walked the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And she wasn't even done yet, because after just a year, she also became the first model from the Philippines to be photographed for Sports Illustrated's annual swimsuit issue.
But she's not the first to have made it internationally when it comes to fashion, though. Fashion modeling and all that. I believe there's a Melanie Marquez. And I don't know who else. I think there's another person. I can't remember.
She stayed humble. And it's quite easy to observe the way she interacts with other people because she still speaks Tagalog and sometimes even her local language, Kapampangan.
Singkataras. This is what dati may isang stereotype.
And why wouldn't she be, you know, proud of the language and dialects that she know? The more you know, the smarter you are.
So no matter what happens, I will always be proud of Kelsey Merritt despite of her being a target of some Pinoy bashers. Now, if you think Kelsey's bashers were rude...
If you're better than her, then maybe you can bash her. Come on, people. When you don't have nothing to show.
It was so bad that even content creators made negative videos about her.
I don't even question who gets famous on TikTok.
It's just her making faces. Oh, look, I think.
And that's one thing I don't like about social media, when people become negative.
Over here contorting her features to be all cutesy like gives me the rage to take down the Chinese government from the inside. And she just gets so much hate because her videos are like low effort or whatever. People's like, oh, you're so talentless, you don't deserve all this fame.
But is that all there is to it?
And who is the one
Bella
speaking?
Just a random Filipino girl with
somebody with all the talents?
Enough to have TikTok's algorithm on her side?
I mean, if you're not impressed, then don't watch.
There's more than meets the eye. Bella's real name is Denari Bautista Taylor. She was born and raised in Pangasinan, Philippines. She didn't know her Filipino parents because after her birth, her grandmother took care of her until the age of 3 and was then adopted by an American veteran and a Filipina stepmom. At age 7, when she became capable of doing chores, her abusive stepdad would make her clean their farm as early as 3 in the morning, while her older stepsisters got to do whatever they wanted. It's like a Cinderella story, to be honest.
Yeah.
That would abuse her physically and verbally.
My nickname was like stupid growing up. I have to clean up real good because if I don't, then my stepdad would get mad at me and be like, oh, you're not eating breakfast if you don't get this done. I went to school one time with a swollen hand on my right hand and it was like bleeding, and I tried to like stop the bleeding before I got to school.
When Bella turned 13, karma would do its work as her stepdad had to fly the family to the US for the need of bypass surgery. Due to his condition, Bella no longer experienced physical abuse, but the emotional maltreatment still persisted. At age 17, Bella had enough, so she decided to join the US Navy to get away. After boot camp, she was given the role of an aviation ordnance man. She was basically responsible for the maintenance of guns,
I think I
bombs,
kind of know this girl. I've seen
rockets,
her.
and missiles. Man, the job sounds very dangerous, but you can't deny that it sounds badass too. After 4 years in service, she decided to call it quits, and now we're all caught out. Bella Poarch became famous for lip-syncing to the song "M to the B," which produced the most liked TikTok ever.
I wasn't paying attention. I think I was so emotional earlier.
Some critics started noticing her little to non-existent effort in said videos.
Cutie, another cutie.
How she was getting all the success in just a short period of time. In her first 12 months, she casually racked up 60 million followers. That's basically
60 million
followers per month, or 165,000 followers per day. It's so insane that her number of followers today is even more than the population of Canada and Australia combined. Despite all the criticism, she stayed silent. But not until May 14, 2021, when she decided to silence them.
Welcome to Matchmade, home of the perfect woman. Come on in and design a girl in your dreams.
This ain't well the bullshit. You don't get to pick and choose.
Bella's debut as an artist became the biggest music debut ever in YouTube history. She then started sharing her story through podcasts and made sure that she also showcased her talent.
This ain't build a bitch. You don't get to pick and choose. Stiffer ass and bigger boobs. If my eyes are brown or blue. See the line where the sky meets the sea. It calls me. No one knows how far it goes. Seems like everybody's got a price. I wonder how they sleep at night when the sun comes first and the truth comes
You're smart,
second.
girl. That's
Stop
why.
for a minute and smile. Nobody says it was easy.
I don't watch her stuff, so.
No one ever
But
said
impressive.
it would be this
Very cute.
hard. Oh, take me back
Smart.
to the start.
At this point, I'm not even surprised anymore because you know how it is with Filipinos. We love karaoke and Bella eats it for breakfast.
Whitman.
To this day, Bella Poarch is still active in TikTok on her music career. She released more bangers such as Inferno, Living Hell, Dolls, and recently Crush. What I like about Bella is she's a loud and proud Filipina. She speaks 3 different Filipino languages and she doesn't even hide it in her live streams and interviews.
Ba,
Ba,
o,
o,
ni,
ni,
nam. Pauninam.
baoy.
Ano kinain mo kanina?
Oh, siya? Nanganak lang tiya dagichay ilat plako de yung pungata ko. Tas inikan ka. Naimas ma.
Naimas? Naimas mo?
It's more fun in the Philippines. I just want to say na mahal ko talaga ang Pilipinas. And for me to represent the Philippines is crazy because I'm sorry, I'm like very emotional. You know,
okay.
Filipinos are very emotional.
You make us proud.
For me, her contribution
I'm
alone to the
emotional watching
Philippines on the
her.
map is more than enough to be proud of. While Kelsey and Bella experienced haters, Zes Filipina experienced far greater dangers.
Pulling to the inside, Bustamante into turn 1, but she's collected by Ham.
Oh my gosh, Chuck. Yeah, I really wish I watched this with my girlfriends because this is your featured so far 3 women and we're very opinionated. You'll see. One of these days if you watch our video.
Bustamante is there to stop her.
This time, it's Bianca Bustamante's turn. Seriously though, what is up with this Bustamante bloodline? Why do we always
Yeah,
have different
Efren.
businesses? Anyway, Bianca was born and raised in Laguna, Philippines. Ever since she was a toddler, she was pretty much exposed to the sport of racing because her dad was a kart racer. At the age of 6, she was already competing. She competed against boys most of the time and still won, so she gradually accumulated more than 100 trophies by the time she turned 17. Due to the amount of training and experience at such a very young age, she qualified to compete in the W Series, an international all-female racing championship that is known as a stepping stone to make it in Formula 1. Sadly though, Bianca didn't win, but she performed well enough to earn the spot in the Formula 1 Academy. Despite being only 18,
How many
it didn't take her very
people,
long to
women,
land her first
who can
F1
say that?
Academy win, which happened in the very challenging racetrack in Valencia, Spain.
It's a good start by Bianca Bustamante. Bianca Bustamante. Bustamante has to take a defensive.
Your name being mentioned several times because you're up there.
Manages to get back onto the track though. But that allows Pula and Handa Akabesi to close right in on her. Can Bianca Bustamante hold on? It will be Bustamante who crosses the line first to win her first F1 Academy race. The Filipino racer Bianca Bustamante celebrates. What a start to her F1 Academy Championship.
This victory made her the very first Filipino to win an international race in a league that is directly associated with Formula 1. As she stood at the top of that podium, Bianca couldn't help but lose it when our national anthem started playing.
Oh my gosh, Chuck. I'm crying. These Filipinos. so emotional. You've come a long way, baby.
It was an amazing feeling, my first ever race to win. The national anthem was from Philippines was played in the podium, and that just got me crying. It hasn't been played for a very long time, so I'm very thankful for it.
Sheesh, these moments always get me. 2 months later, she would bag another win in Monza, Italy, while experiencing some very dangerous crashes.
As they make their way to the first braking zone here, and there's a huge shot to the back. It's Chloe Grant in the ART car, upside down. It's actually Amna Alkravesi she hits in the MP Motorsport car, then Bustamante. And I think Schreiner, another innocent victim there, from her teammate in front as well. Flames out the back. Scary. Bianca Bustamante out in front. Disaster once
We don't often see this with females getting this kind of, you know, sports. You could potentially die.
Just going to get in front of Carrie Schreiner. Bianca Bustamante almost forced into the grass by pulling. It's respectful racing. Bustamante crosses the line to take her second win in F1 Academy. The Bremer team celebrate with smiles all around. And a job well done for Bianca Bustamante.
When I went on top of the podium, I heard them chanting my name, and really that just got me crying again. To hear the anthem played and the Italian fans cheering me on, I just felt right at home.
I've always been so proud of being Filipino, and even though sa mundo ng motorsports hindi ito ganun kasikat or wala masyadong madaming Filipinong karerista, I'm still so proud of it.
Jeez, this girl is really out there risking her life for her passion while representing her country.
There's not too many Filipino women who gets into this, and yet she's a winner. How much more if there's more women from the Philippines doing this?
Looking at this video, the current F1 Academy season is still ongoing, and Bianca Bustamante is currently sitting at rank number 7 out of 15 drivers. Not bad at all for a rookie. And her team, Bremer Racing, is the second best team so far, trailing only by 21 points, so they definitely still have a chance to win it all. And speaking of winning, how about winning the heart of Hollywood's biggest movie star back then, Steve McQueen? Yep, I'm not even kidding. Meet Neil Adams. Her real name is Ruby Neil Salvador Arrastia. She was born and raised in Manila in 1932. She's the child of a popular performer, Carmen Salvador, and Jose Pepe Arrastia, who was known as the son of one of the most prominent hacienderos in Lubao, Pampanga. She barely knew her dad because she grew up under her mom's care.
They're related to the Salvadors?
So it was natural for her to want to follow in her mom's footsteps. Before she became a teenager, her mom would start performing
the Salvador
in the
is a big clan too of artists, right?
The time when World War II broke out. When the Japanese attacked Manila in December 1941, her mom couldn't go back, so she was left under the care of her relatives. As the war continued, the Japanese started occupying the Philippines. Guerrilla groups started emerging. One of them was the Philippines resistance against the Japanese. They were famously known as Hukbalahap, a group of peasant farmers that were originally formed to fight the Japanese but later rebelled against the government because they didn't like the terms of the alliance between the Philippines and the US. Then, the craziest thing happened. As a teenager, Neil became a spy for the resistance.
Wow.
She carried messages and intel between guerrilla groups. This went on for months until she got caught and incarcerated by the Japanese for 18 months. He was also reportedly wounded by shrapnel in one of her legs from a nearby explosion during that time. In 1948, Neil's mom finally was able to return home and immediately moved her to the US, where she would finish her studies in the art of performing at the Katherine Dunham School of Dance in New York. In 1953, she was cast as a dancer in a musical called Kismet and worked her way up to become the lead dancer of the show. Due to her ambiguous beauty and exceptional stage presence, she was offered one of the lead roles in the show called The Pajama Game.
Who's that? That's Neil Adams. What does she do? What does she do? Man!
Performing arts. Filipinos. Pixie hair.
Look between. One has the headlines, two's got the news, 5, 6, and 7's
didn't know we have somebody like that back in the day. Neil Adams. Wow.
While rehearsing for the show, she bumped into Steve McQueen.
So,
You should have that brandy after breakfast, not before.
why?
Listen, I don't mean to overstep myself, but would you like to join me in a pot of coffee?
The rest was history. Her name then became big in the Broadway scene, and she also appeared in over 20 films and TV series between 1952 and 1991.
Too bad my parents are not around anymore. They probably know her.
Something daring.
Neil and Steve had 2 kids, and one of their grandchildren is Stephen R. McQueen, who is popularly known as Jeremy of Vampire Diaries.
Oh my gosh.
Nice shot. From just a young Filipino girl who cared for her country to becoming a big Broadway star and celebrity, Neil Adams is definitely proof that Filipinos can excel in many different fields.
What a person.
And one of those fields is beauty pageants. You see, the competitive spirit will always be there for Filipinos. But pageants for us, it's not a competition. It's an obsession.
I think in this country we're in dire need of heroes.
I don't know about beauty pageants. I guess I just have a different outlook with these things. I do admire beauty. I'm probably an exception, you know. I'm not so into it, but once the Philippines go contend with the other countries and we win, I can't deny it. There's such pride in it.
It made people realize that somebody who comes from a far-flung area in the Philippines can probably stand a chance of making it to the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's the psychology of it. I think Filipinos are always challenged
Look at that. How fabulous.
to show that we have what it
based in
takes
Hollywood.
to
And
compete
today I'm going to be applying a lip stain
with other
using
people
Wonder
in other
Lady.
countries.
We bagged our first Miss Universe titles back in 1969 with Gloria Diaz.
Yeah, I remember this. Like, it was a big deal.
England, Miss Philippines is Miss Universe of 1969. Miss Philippines. Martha, would you step in? Please. There we are.
And in 1973 with Margie Moran.
The first runner-up is Miss USA, Miss Philippines.
Margie Moran. And she has an interesting story to tell as well. She didn't tell her parents. I think she got
After that, we went
some
on a
relatives to
32-year
help her
drought.
join the
22
contest.
years. That's half a lifetime. And during those times, we really struggled.
I won't change my legs because I'm contented with my long-legged.
What would you rather be? Beautiful or smart?
Well, quiet please.
I remember this.
El Nino is what we are facing right now. If we do simple things like planting trees, then we will not experience drought, right? So if we start now, we will achieve La Nina. Thank you.
Alright, so you won 2 of the major awards, Best in Long Gown, Best in Swimsuit.
I didn't see that
Do you feel
before,
any pressure
so I
right
was
now?
surprised.
No, I don't feel any pressure.
This is
Confident, alright.
This
Please
has
choose
gone
the
around.
judge.
The question is, what role did your family play for you as candidate to Binibining Pilipinas?
Well, my
She couldn't
family's
answer
role
this.
for me is so important because they was the one who's very oh, I'm so sorry. My family. Oh my God.
sorry.
I'm so sorry. I told you that I'm so confident. Eto, wait. Sorry guys.
Hey, it's not easy to be up in front. Oh my
Because
gosh.
I'm only 17 years old. And
Okay.
I did not
Poor thing
expect
though, because you know now everything goes viral.
I came from one of the top 10.
Mm.
So, but I said that my family is the most important persons in my life. Thank you.
I'm not by any means an expert, but in my humble opinion, that long drought fueled our determination to win another title. We wanted to prove something so badly, so the community increasingly became desperate and the training for candidates became more and more grueling. Come 2010, it started paying off as the Philippines went on a 12-year semi-finals.
Venus Rock.
Rio Venus Rock 22, Philippines.
Shamsi Suksuk, 25, Philippines.
Janine Tabalon, 23, Philippines.
Ariela Aridal, Laguna.
Mary Jean Lastimosa, Philippines.
Pia Alonzo Wertzbach, Philippines. Maria Michael Maxine Medina, Philippines.
Philippines.
Catriona McDonald, Philippines.
This is Rabia Oxani Mateo, all the way from the Philippines.
Beatriz Luigi Gomez, Philippines.
Two of those rounds made it all the way to the crown, but the road to getting there was very far from easy. During my research, I learned that Pia and Catriona also had their own fair share of crushing and devastating defeats.
Here we go.
Binibining Pilipinas 2013 runner-up is none other than Binibini 15, Pia A. Wurzbach.
Our Miss Universe Philippines 2014 is none other than Binibini number 25, Mary Jane
Justin Nelson.
And the winner of Miss World 2016 is Puerto Rico.
God, we love you. You are our Miss Universe. We're so proud. So wonderful. You did your best. You did your best. We love you.
But these Filipinas are just built differently.
Why should you be the next Miss Universe?
To be a Miss Universe is both an honor and a responsibility. If I were to be Miss Universe, I will use my voice to influence the youth, and I would raise awareness to certain causes like HIV awareness that is timely and relevant to my country, which is the Philippines. I want to show the world, the universe rather, that I am confidently beautiful with a heart. Thank you.
Miss Universe.
That's the line. A lot of people have used that line. The world, rather. I remember the day when this happened. We were in a party, a bridal party, a bridal shower party. And when we got the news, we're like, what?
Miss Universe 2015 is Philippines.
Ooh, big boo-boo. But I think in a way that's good that it happened. I'm saying that in an awkward way because that kind of brought attention to Miss Universe when a lot of people outside of Philippines and certain countries don't really care about Miss Universe. So that incident kind of brought it to the fore, the news and all that.
12 years old, now 24. This fashion model and singers raise funds for various charities.
See, when you go through a lot of competitions and you've lost in the past, look at this confidence now. That's like anything else, you know? When you didn't go through a lot of tests in life, you don't know your strength and how far you can go to fight.
A school offering free education to children.
Imagine even her gown, she helped design this. Ibong Adarna. And that red outfit that was copied after by other contestants. That's awesome.
I work a lot in the slums of Tondo, Manila, and the life there is it's poor and it's very sad. And I've always taught myself to look for the beauty in it, to look in the beauty in the faces of the children, and to be grateful.
Exactly. Being poor is not always sad.
As a Miss Universe, to see
I mean,
situations with a silver lining,
yeah.
and to assess where I could give something, where I could provide
I mean, it is
something.
sad, but it's not sad. You know? It's who you are. It's how you see things.
We could have an amazing world where negativity could not grow and foster, and children would have a smile on their face. Thank you.
Best win.
Because of their victories,
Trendsetter.
the Philippines became one of the biggest beauty
The
pageant
walk,
dynasties in the entire
the
world.
iconic
Gold
dress,
titles behind
or
USA's
gown.
9, Venezuela's 7, and Puerto Rico's 5. An achievement that we Filipinos should be proud of. Now I know that some people don't like this concept of Pinoy pride because they find it cringe or corny and all that. Well, someone has something to say about that.
The Philippines is home of very beautiful natural resources. From the beaches, the mountains, but I firmly believe that the best natural resource that the Philippines has is us Filipinos. We are the true heart and soul of the Philippines, with the way we are hospitable, with the warm smiles, and we are the reason why the world keeps coming back for more. No matter where the universe takes me, I will always be proud to call the Philippines my home. And no matter what happens, I will always be proud to call myself Pinoy.
Right there. Perfect, Chuck. It encapsulated everything that could be said about us. I just want to add though about this topic that kind of got me going earlier about that passport thing. Oh gosh, I forgot again what's the term. I think it's still happening about those men who's left the Western countries to marry off from other society. And then the backlash is the women in those Western countries are upset and looking down at those men. But I think what really got me is the assumption that because you come from a poor country that you are not educated and that you're just subjugated to men. It's just a culture thing. If you really think about it, women in the Philippines, okay, maybe I just talk about myself. I'm an only child. I was born and raised in the Philippines. We were not well off, but because I'm an only child, then I have enough. My mom sews a lot of my clothes, and so I don't have a problem with clothing. And I design my own clothes, and which my mom would make for me. But education is important, and that's all that she had inculcated in me. I remember as a kid, my dad made a blackboard for me at home, and my mom would be teaching me, helping me with my homework using the blackboard. And then so tell me that education is not important. It is. It's a big part of the Filipino psyche. We always want to be able to speak better, do things better. and it's not about competing with our neighbors or competing with other people, but our parents always want us to be better people and be educated and know of the world. I mean, even if we would not end up having money to travel, we read. I remember my mom borrowing American books from our neighbor whose family are in the US. So you know how they would send balikbayan boxes with gifts for the kids, and it's not just toys but a lot of books from the US. And after their kids would finish reading, my mom would borrow so I could read because we couldn't afford. But you know how, like I said, how that mentality of a parent would want the best for their children to be educated. So for people in other cultures to think that just because you come from the Philippines that you are not educated, if they are not, it's not because they don't want to, or they just, you know, oh, I'll just be married off anyway, I don't need to have an education kind of thing. That's never the mentality of the Filipinos. And then besides that, it's like we were always taught to dream, to become better, to do something with our lives, and not to depend on anyone. And I think, well, part of that may be because I'm my own child, so I'm an independent person and I'm an independent woman. But at the same time, my mom would never teach me to just live off other people. You know, it's like, oh, just go to your auntie and eat there kind of thing. So it's not in our, I don't want to say it's a generalization, but at the same time, if we do, let's just say it that way, if we do eat in other people's home, our friends and all that, our family is equally generous. I mean, if our friends come over, even if we don't have enough, we would always share. And we would always, like, you know, if we have guests in the Philippines, that's why they say we're always generous when it comes to that we're welcoming people. Because I remember growing up, we don't have that much, but when we have guests coming over, my mom would send me to the store to buy stuff. And in my mind, I'm like, my mom doesn't even buy me this, but yet she would buy that for our guests, you know? But I think the fact that you judge people, you yourself don't have enough education or culture, or you are not cultured enough to know what other people go through or live. And it's so sad because I've really actually seen lately a lot of that on YouTube, a lot of women from the Western countries so condescending, and they feel like those women in the Philippines and Thailand and all those Asian countries, when they marry off this men coming from the Western side, they feel, or they actually say it, that they are victims. You know, just because this women's tradition and culture may be, they were taught to serve their family, their spouse, like that doesn't mean they're, you know, they're victims. Because I remember growing up, my mom, her expression of love is servitude. You know, she works so hard, clean the house, cook and all that. It's a culture, it's a cultural thing. It's not that we women in third world countries are subjugated by men. To tell you the truth, and this is one thing that a lot of Western people don't realize, that the Philippines is a matriarchal society. A lot of power are wielded by women. You don't know that. A lot of women in the Philippines who have good education, have good positions in their offices and businesses, or they own their own businesses. And pretty much in the Philippines, women rule, really. Okay, so my question to you, people in America and other countries in the world, how many women presidents do you have? In the Philippines, we already had 2 so far. And in a couple of years, we might have a third woman president. So that should say enough, and that should be enough. Chuck, yes, I wish I did this reaction with my girlfriends because it would have been more fun. Okay, thank you, Chuck, for putting this out again. This is a winner. Thank you for making us feel good and to kind of look back of who we are. Thank you, Chuck. Bye.